How to Become a Straight-A Student by Cal Newport. Picture this. There's a college student named Anna who gets straight A's, but here's the twist. You won't find her buried in textbooks at the library until 2 a.m. Instead, she's hanging out with friends at the student center, living her best life at campus parties, and actually sleeping at night. Her friends watch her in complete bewilderment, thinking, "Anna, seriously, what's your secret? You make this look ridiculously easy." That question right there? It unlocks something most students never figure out, a secret that separates those drowning in academic stress from those who seem to glide through effortlessly. We've all heard the story, right? The one where getting good grades means sacrificing everything else, all-nighters, fueled by questionable amounts of coffee. The library becoming your second bedroom, your social life becoming a distant memory. We're told that to reach the top, you need to become a grind, someone who simply outlasts everyone else through pure, exhausting effort. But what if that whole story is completely backwards? What if the students crushing it academically aren't the ones studying the most, but the ones studying the smartest? That's the game-changing premise of Cal Newport's brilliant book, How to Become a Straight-A Student. This isn't some dusty advice from professors who haven't sat in a student desk in decades. Newport did something fascinating. He went directly to the source. He interviewed top students from Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and Dartmouth, asking them one simple question: how do you actually do this? And here's the kicker. He wasn't interested in the grinds. He specifically looked for students like Anna, the ones acing their classes while somehow having time for everything else. What he discovered was an underground playbook of strategies that are both unconventional and shockingly effective. Today, we're going to dive into those secrets. By the time we're done, you'll understand why most study methods are fundamentally broken, and you'll have a clear roadmap for transforming your academic life. You'll learn how to manage your time in just 5 minutes a day, how to outsmart procrastination instead of fighting it with willpower, and how to absorb complex material so thoroughly that exam prep becomes almost boringly simple. This isn't about grinding harder, it's about operating at a level of efficiency that makes grinding obsolete. It's about finally learning how the game actually works. Let's start with a scene you've probably lived. It's Sunday morning, you dragged yourself to the library with a backpack full of books and a pit in your stomach. Your goal? Finish all your homework, and maybe start that paper due Wednesday. You settle into a quiet corner and begin the slow march. Hours tick by. You read a chapter, but your mind drifts. You check your phone, grab coffee, chat with a friend passing by. By late afternoon, this weird exhaustion sets in. You feel like you've been working hard. I mean, you've been here all day, but when you actually look at what you've accomplished, barely anything. The sun sets. Another day evaporates, and tomorrow's pile of work is still waiting for you, untouched. This exhausting, unproductive state is what Cal Newport calls pseudo-working. It's the art of looking like you're studying, feeling like you're studying, without actually achieving the deep focus needed to get real work done. The student rewatching chemistry notes while scrolling Instagram? Pseudo-working. The one preparing for an all-day paper marathon with energy drinks and a blanket fort? Pseudo-working. It's low-intensity, high-distraction effort that absolutely devours your time. Most students don't even realize they're doing it. They think this painful, draining process is just what studying is. But the straight-A students Newport interviewed, they're terrified of pseudo-work. Their entire system is built around avoiding it. They understand a deceptively simple formula. Work accomplished equals time spent times intensity of focus. Think about that equation. Pseudo-work operates at maybe a 3 out of 10 focus intensity. To get through exam prep, you might need 10 brutal hours. But what if you could crank that intensity up to a 10 out of 10? Same formula, same result, except now you're done in 3 hours. That's the foundational secret. Straight-A students don't do long, painful marathons. They do short, laser-focused sprints. Less time studying, more actual learning happening. But how do you achieve that kind of focus when everything around you is designed to distract you? It starts not with fancy study techniques, but with mastering the basics of your daily life. Part 1. The foundation of effortless success. Before you can master what to study, you need to master how to work. The students Newport studied weren't superhuman. They just had simple, powerful systems for managing time, energy, and focus. The 5-minute time management system. Let's talk time management. I know, the phrase alone can make you want to run in the opposite direction. It sounds rigid and suffocating, but straight-A students use schedules differently, not to cram in more work, but to reduce stress and create more free time. Their system is brilliantly simple and takes about 5 minutes a day. You need just 2 tools, a calendar and a daily list. Here's how it works. Your calendar, digital or paper, doesn't matter, becomes your master repository. Every deadline, every appointment, every commitment goes there the moment you learn about it. French quiz moved to Friday? Calendar. Economics study group Thursday night? Calendar. Getting these obligations out of your head and into a trusted system is like dropping a heavy backpack you didn't realize you were carrying. The best part? You only check this master calendar once, daily. Every morning, spend a few minutes looking at it and planning your day. Take a fresh sheet of paper, your daily list, and create a realistic schedule. Don't just list tasks, assign specific time blocks to each one. 1 o'clock to 2:45, government reading. 3 o'clock to 4:30, start economics problem set. This time labeling is crucial. It forces brutal honesty. A 12-hour day feels enormous until you block out classes, meals, meetings, and breaks. Suddenly, you realize your free time is way more limited than you thought. This realism prevents the classic student trap of overestimating what you can do and putting everything off until it's too late. Throughout the day, your list guides you. But it's flexible, not rigid. Friend convinces you to make a spontaneous target run? Fine, adjust. But the list keeps pulling you back on track. When new tasks pop up, just scribble them in a things to remember column. Tomorrow morning, transfer them to your calendar. The cycle continues. That's it. Jot things down during the day. Spend 5 minutes each morning updating your calendar and planning. This simple system transforms you from a stressed-out student, always playing catch-up, into an organized, relaxed machine. Declaring war on procrastination. Of course, having a plan is one thing. Following through, that's another beast entirely. When Newport asked straight-A students how they beat procrastination, many gave a surprising answer. I don't. What they meant was, they don't defeat the urge to procrastinate. Some work just sucks, and wanting to avoid it is completely natural. So instead of relying on willpower alone, they developed clever strategies to sidestep the urge and get work done anyway. They don't fight the feeling head-on. They outsmart it. Here are 5 of their best tactics. Battle Plan 1. Keep a work progress journal. Our egos hate admitting we're being lazy, so we invent creative excuses. I'll be sharper tomorrow morning. I don't have the right materials right now. A work progress journal ruthlessly exposes these lies. Every morning, write down your most important task. At day's end, record whether you did it. If not, write down why. Putting a flimsy excuse on paper, in permanent ink, stings the ego. That discomfort is often all the motivation you need to get back on track. Battle Plan 2. Feed the machine. Your brain is a physical organ running on fuel. Low energy breeds procrastination. During long work sessions, treat your body like a high-performance vehicle. Drink water constantly. Monitor caffeine so you get a boost without becoming jittery. Treat food as energy, not just pleasure. Healthy snacks like fruit and nuts provide sustained energy, while sugar leads to crashes. And never skip meals. Hunger murders focus. Battle Plan 3. Make an event out of the worst tasks. Some assignments are so dreadful that even thinking about starting them is paralyzing. For these, change the game. As one student said, I try to make an event out of it. Instead of tackling that horrible assignment in your dorm, go somewhere new. Find an out-of-the-way coffee shop or bookstore cafe. The novelty and effort of getting there creates a sense of occasion. You're sitting there, alone, surrounded by strangers. It's almost more awkward not to work. The change of scenery can jolt you past that initial resistance. Battle Plan 4. Build a routine. Brains love habits. Once a routine establishes itself, it runs on autopilot. Use this to your advantage. Find at least one consistent free hour each weekday and dedicate it to the same task every week. Maybe Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. are for history reading. After a few weeks, this becomes habit. You no longer need to convince yourself. It's just what you do then. Steady progress without draining motivation. Battle Plan 5. Choose your hard days. Every student faces days where work volume simply exceeds normal capacity. Most people wait until they're drowning and forced into grinding. Smart students are proactive. They look ahead, spot a deadline storm brewing, and choose a hard day in advance. By planning it, they take control. They prepare mentally, warn friends they'll be unavailable, and even schedule a fun reward for after. A forced hard day feels abusive. A chosen hard day feels like a conquered challenge. These foundational skills, simple time management, and anti-procrastination strategies, enable straight-A students to achieve intense focus. They create a lifestyle supporting deep work, allowing them to study far more efficiently than peers. But what do they actually do during those focused study sessions? Part 2. Conquering quizzes and exams. Now we reach the heart of the matter, the act of studying itself. We need to start by demolishing the most common, most ineffective study method out there: rote review. This is the simple act of reading and rereading notes and assignments repeatedly, hoping through sheer repetition something will stick. Let's be blunt, this is a terrible way to study. It's passive, it's boring. Your mind fatigues quickly, and your ability to synthesize complex ideas tanks. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour in hours upon hours, but very little actually stays. Straight-A students have a better way. They understand studying is a skill, and like any skill, technique matters enormously. They don't try shooting a basketball granny style 1,000 times. They learn proper jump shot form. Superior technique means better results with less effort. This superior technique starts long before the exam, right in the classroom. Step 1. Taking smart notes. First rule, always go to class. Doesn't matter if it's early, if the professor is boring, or if you're exhausted. Going to class saves massive time later. A missed lecture can take twice as long to learn on your own. But just showing up isn't enough. You need to take notes that actively help you learn, not passively record what's said. The method depends on course type. For non-technical courses, history, English, political science, the key is identifying big ideas. Exams in these classes test understanding and contrasting major arguments. To capture these, listen for a simple 3-part structure professors almost always use: question, evidence, conclusion. Most big ideas are presented as an answer the conclusion to an interesting question, supported by various evidence. Your job as note-taker is structuring everything into this format. When a professor starts a new topic, write question and capture what they're trying to answer. As they present facts, examples, and arguments, list them as evidence bullets. Finally, write conclusion and summarize the main takeaway. Sometimes professors won't explicitly state the question or conclusion. That's your job. You actively listen and deduce them. This simple structuring transforms you from passive stenographer to active learner, identifying and cementing big ideas as the lecture happens. For technical courses, math, science, engineering, the strategy differs. Forget about big ideas. The key is recording as many sample problems as possible. Your entire class focus should be capturing step-by-step solutions to examples. These worked problems become your most valuable study resource. When the professor moves too fast, prioritize. Get the problem statement and final answer first, then steps if possible. If you lose track on a particular step, put a big question mark next to it. Don't let confusion slide. Step 2. Demoting your assignments. One of the biggest sources of student overwhelm is sheer reading volume. Straight-A students have a liberating secret. You don't have to read everything. Trying to is a luxury most students can't afford. The key is strategic triage. First, identify favored sources, usually a main textbook or course reader appearing on the syllabus for almost every lecture. Always read assignments from these carefully. Everything else is supplemental reading. To decide how to handle these, use a simple importance hierarchy. Readings making an argument are most important. Readings simply describing events or people are middle tier. Readings only providing context, like speech transcripts, are least important. Spend your limited time and energy at the top of this hierarchy and skim or even skip what's at the bottom. For problem sets and technical courses, the key is avoiding one massive last-minute session. Instead, work on them constantly in small chunks. Do 1 or 2 problems daily, and crucially, don't work alone. Working with a small group of classmates can drastically cut time spent on hard problem sets, as you pool knowledge and get unstuck much faster. Steps 3 and 4, marshaling your resources and conquering the material. As the exam approaches, it's time to prepare. Notice I didn't say study. For straight-A students, most of the hard learning has already happened through smart note-taking and strategic assignment work. This final phase is targeted, efficient review. First, organize your material. For non-technical courses, gather all lecture and reading notes and cluster them into topic piles. This becomes your study guide. For technical courses, take graded problem sets and add sample problems from lecture notes, creating what Newport calls mega problem sets. With material organized, you're ready to conquer it using the single most effective study technique you'll ever learn, the quiz and recall method. Remember how rote review is passive and ineffective? Quiz and recall is the exact opposite. It's active. Instead of rereading notes, you force yourself to reproduce information from scratch. For non-technical courses, look at the question in your notes. Then, without peeking at the answer, articulate the conclusion and main evidence points out loud, as if teaching someone else. For technical courses, cover up the solution to a sample problem and try solving it from scratch on blank paper. This act of active recall forges strong neural pathways. It's the difference between recognizing a face in a crowd and being able to draw it from memory. If you can explain an argument from scratch or solve a problem without help, you've truly learned it. It's not going anywhere. Go through all material this way, checkmarking anything you struggle with. Take a short break, review answers for checked items, and repeat the process, this time only, on things you got wrong. Continue until you can get through everything without a single mistake. At that point, you're done. The process is incredibly efficient because you spend most time on weak areas and no time on what you already know. And it gives you a definite endpoint. No more wondering, have I studied enough? When you can recall everything, you have. Steps 5 and 6, academic disaster insurance and A+ answers. 2 final pieces complete the puzzle. First, you need what Newport calls academic disaster insurance. This simple strategy avoids that nightmare scenario where an exam question covers the one topic you completely spaced on in class. Remember those question marks you put in notes for confusing things? Your insurance policy is eliminating them long before exam prep starts. Ask the professor after class. Ask a classmate. Attend review sessions. By clarifying confusion as it happens, you ensure no gaping knowledge holes on test day. Finally, there's the art of taking the test itself. Even the most prepared student can stumble here. Straight-A students use a system. First, Read the entire exam before answering anything. This primes your brain and reduces anxiety. Second, build a time budget, allocating specific minutes to each question so you don't get bogged down. Third, proceed easy to hard, knocking out questions you know best first to build momentum and confidence. Fourth, for essays, take 2 minutes to write a mini outline before writing, ensuring your answer is structured and complete. Last, use every second of leftover time to check your work. This entire system, from note-taking to test-taking, completely overhauls traditional studying approaches. It replaces painful, inefficient brute force with elegant, intelligent strategy. This is why the best students get the best grades while still having lives. Part 3. The Art of the A+ Paper. If exam studying is college's most feared challenge, writing a major paper runs a close second. For most students, it's defined by agony. They sit before a blank screen with a vague idea and a pile of books, trying to do 3 incredibly difficult things simultaneously: sift through research, form a coherent argument, and communicate that argument in clear, elegant prose. The result is a slow, painful, paragraph-by-paragraph slog draining all mental energy and producing rambling, disjointed papers. The straight-A approach, once again, rejects this chaos. The key to effective paper writing is breaking the task into manageable units and tackling them one at a time. The process is an 8-step journey, transforming a daunting task into a series of clear, logical challenges. The early steps, the idea phase. Your final paper's quality is determined long before you write a single sentence. It begins with the idea. Step 1. Target a titillating topic. For research papers, choose a topic genuinely exciting to you. If you're not curious about the idea, the entire process becomes tedious torture. So from day 1 of class, watch for ideas in lectures or readings that pique your interest. Step 2. Conduct a thesis hunting expedition. A topic isn't a thesis. A topic is a subject. A thesis is a specific, interesting argument about that subject. To find a good one, don't just dive into the library hoping for the best. Start general, then move 1 layer deep. Find 1 or 2 overview books on your topic. Read relevant chapters, but pay closest attention to their bibliographies. Those citations lead you to more focused, specific journal articles and books. It's in these 1 layer deep sources that you're most likely to find nuanced, original, supportable theses. Step 3. Seek a second opinion. Once you have a thesis idea, do something most students are too intimidated to try. Talk to your professor about it. A simple 10-minute office hours meeting can save you from disaster. The professor can tell you if your idea is appropriate, too broad, or too simple, and often suggest key sources you might have missed. A thesis isn't real until an expert gives you the green light. The middle steps, the research and argument phase. With an approved thesis in hand, you're ready to build your case. Step 4. Research like a machine. The research goal is getting all needed information without getting lost in endless library stacks. Straight-A students follow a 4-part mechanical process. 1. Find sources. 2. Make personal copies of all sources. 3. Annotate the material. 4. Decide if you're done. The most important part is making personal photocopies or printouts of every relevant chapter and article. This creates a portable, condensed library of sources you can organize, highlight, and annotate extensively. As you skim each source, create a simple 1-page annotation sheet, serving as a concise pointer to important arguments inside. This way, when building your argument, you work from organized annotations, not digging through book piles. Once you have this topic skeleton, flesh it out by typing relevant quotes and evidence directly from your sources underneath each topic header. When done, you'll have a long, detailed document containing the complete logical structure and all supporting evidence for your paper. The hard-thinking work is now complete. Step 6. Consult your expert panel. Before writing, get feedback on your outline. Your panel should include your professor, but also a couple of smart friends from the class. Walk them through your argument. They'll help spot unclear transitions or weak logic points. This final check ensures your structure is rock solid before committing to prose. The final steps, the writing and polishing phase. Step 7. Write without the agony. If you've followed the steps so far, actual writing should be the most straightforward part of the entire process. You're not trying to think and write simultaneously. You're simply articulating an argument already fully formed and organized in your outline. Follow your outline topic by topic, building clear prose around quotes and evidence you've already compiled. As one student put it, "Once I have the structure, the paper writes itself." Step 8. Fix, don't fixate. Editing is crucial, but it can also become an endless time black hole. To avoid this, use a simple 3-pass system. Pass 1. The argument adjustment pass. Read through the paper on your computer, focusing only on big picture. Is the argument clear? Is flow logical? Move entire paragraphs around if needed. Pass 2. The out loud pass. Print a hard copy, find a private space, and read the entire thing out loud. Your ear will catch awkward phrasing, typos, and grammatical mistakes your eyes skim over every time. This is the single most effective way to catch small errors. Pass 3. The sanity pass. This is a final, quick read-through of a printed copy right before submitting. It's a last check for stray errors, but more importantly, it gives you closure and confidence that you're submitting polished, powerful work. This systematic approach demystifies paper writing. It separates the distinct challenges of research, argumentation, and writing, allowing you to tackle each with focused, efficient strategies. It turns an agonizing marathon into a series of manageable, even enjoyable, steps. When you step back and look at the landscape of Cal Newport's advice, what emerges is a philosophy as profound as it is practical. The central message isn't just about study habits. It's about rejecting a culture of, quote, busyness as a badge of honor. It's a rebellion against the idea that suffering is a prerequisite for success. The most powerful lesson, I believe, is the distinction between pseudo-work and deep work. We live in a world engineered for distraction. Our phones, laptops, social environments, they all pull us towards shallow, fragmented attention. So we fall into pseudo-working without realizing it. We spend 8 hours in the library and feel productive, but we've only accomplished what could have been done in 2 hours of focused effort. This book gives us not only the language to identify this trap, but the tools to escape it. The formula, work accomplished equals time spent times intensity of focus, should be etched into every student's mind. It's a constant reminder that attention quality far outweighs time quantity. Another beautiful insight is working with our human nature, not against it. The procrastination-beating strategies are perfect examples. Newport doesn't tell us to just try harder or be more disciplined. He recognizes that the urge to put things off is natural. So instead, he offers clever psychological judo moves, like the work progress journal harnessing our ego, or making an event out of a dreaded task to trick our brains into starting. This is a much more compassionate and sustainable approach to productivity. It acknowledges our flaws and gives us systems to manage them, rather than demanding unsustainable willpower levels. Ultimately, How to Become a Straight-A Student is a book about freedom. It's about freeing up your time to explore all the other rich aspects of college life. Friendships, hobbies, self-discovery. It's about freeing yourself from the stress and anxiety of feeling constantly behind. And it's about freeing yourself from the false belief that you're not smart enough to get top grades. As Newport brilliantly demonstrates, academic success isn't about innate intelligence, it's about strategy. So if you take just a few things away from our time together today, let them be these. 1. Declare war on pseudo-work. Next time you sit down to study, Be brutally honest. Are you truly focused or just in the vicinity of your work? Eliminate distractions. Work in short, intense bursts. An hour of true, deep focus beats 5 hours of fragmented, distracted effort. 2. Embrace active recall. Stop just rereading notes. Next time you study for a test, close the book and try explaining concepts out loud. Try solving problems from scratch. This simple shift from passive review to active recall will revolutionize how quickly and deeply you learn. 3. Separate the steps. Whether studying for an exam or writing a paper, break the process down. Don't try to research, outline, and write simultaneously. Do your thinking first. Organize your ideas. Then write. This systematic approach reduces overwhelm and dramatically improves work quality. This book is a toolkit, but it's also a manifesto. It's a declaration that you can be exceptional without sacrificing well-being, that you can achieve more by doing less, and that the path to becoming a straight-A student isn't through grinding, but through wisdom. That was a deep dive into how to become a straight-A student by Cal Newport. We've covered the core strategies today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It can show you the main roads and big cities, but it can't give you the feeling of walking through the streets, hearing the music, and tasting the food. The real magic happens when you read the book yourself. It's in the quiet moments when a particular case study or simple phrase connects with you unexpectedly. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has resonated with you, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you approach not just your studies, but any challenging work in your life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.